Have you ever been the strong friend, the one everybody turns to when they need solutions? But what happens when you're the one who's in a jam? Today, we are going to decode that exact moment, that breaking point. We'll look at why support systems so often fail the strongest people, and then we'll lay out a super practical plan to get the help you actually need. Let's get into it.
It usually starts with a feeling just like this. This deep, frustrating sense that you're just screaming into the void. You're explaining, you're hurting, but the people around you, they just don't seem to get it. It's a very specific kind of pain. And honestly, it's the first real sign that your support system is starting to crack. So let's zoom in on this moment. This isn't just about feeling a little down. We're talking about the unique pain of a leader, that strong friend, finally hitting their absolute limit.
The real clue is right here in this quote. It's not, hey, nobody is listening to me. It's, nobody is helping me find a solution. And that is a huge difference. See, this isn't a cry for sympathy. It's a request for a partner in problem solving, and it's being met with total silence. And when that help just doesn't show up, what's the natural reaction? You want to build a fortress. This urge to isolate, to just cut everyone off. It's not coming from a bad place. It's a defense mechanism. It's basically your entire system screaming that it has zero energy left to give and it needs to shut down everything that isn't essential for survival. So this brings us to the big question. Why does this happen? Why do people who genuinely seem to care so often fail to give the right kind of support? Well, the answer is a little more complicated than just they don't care. Let's break down the hidden dynamics that are really at play here. This feeling, right here, this feeling of being completely misunderstood is really at the heart of the problem. People think they're helping just by listening, but they're totally missing what's actually being asked of them. And that leads us to our first big insight into why support so often fails. And this just nails the disconnect. It's a concept called emotional laziness. See, most people think support is about feeling empathy. So they'll listen to you talk for hours and they'll walk away thinking, great, I supported them. But you weren't just venting. You were sending up a flare, signaling that you were stuck and needed help doing something about it. And then you've got this, the problem solver's paradox. When you have this long track record of getting yourself and everyone else out of trouble, people just unconsciously expect you to do it again. They don't really have a playbook for helping you because, well, they've never had to before. They just don't know how to support a leader who's down. And this leads to a phenomenon called strength invisibility. Put simply, your own competence starts working against you. It's like your strength becomes this cloak that completely hides your real needs, making your vulnerability invisible to the very people who should see it the most. And this is the trap. It is a total catch-22. If you look strong, they just assume you don't need help. But if you try to look weak, they get weird, they freeze up, or they avoid you because they have no idea what to do. So either way, the result is exactly the same. You get nothing. Okay. So if it's not the people and it's not you, then what is it? This is maybe the most important shift in perspective we're going to talk about. The problem isn't personal, it's systemic. Let's just call it what it is. This isn't one single problem, it's a total cascade of system failures. You're resource depleted, you're out of time, money, energy. Your boundaries have been violated by people taking way more than they give. You're in this state of role conflict, stuck between being the leader and just being a human. Add in being overstimulated from constant demands, and boom, you become immobile, trapped. It's a perfect storm. I really want you to let this one sink in. That feeling of going crazy, of being at your absolute wit's end, it is not a sign that you are weak or that you're flawed. It is the logical, totally predictable outcome when all of these systems fail at the exact same time. And here's the key to all of it. How did the system fail? Your boundaries collapsed. But they didn't collapse because you were being careless. No, they collapsed because you were in survival mode, just trying to keep everything and everyone afloat. That is not a mistake. That is a completely human response to overwhelming pressure. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. It's a systems failure. We get the dynamics at play. Now for the most important part, a clear, practical, non-negotiable plan to get you unstuck. First things first, we have to accept a pretty brutal truth. Vague cries for help or support are basically useless in a crisis. They just create confusion and paralysis in other people. You have to tell people exactly what to do. Not, I'm so stressed, but I need you to do this specific thing for me. So here it is, the non-negotiable order of operations. Step 1, stop explaining. You have to conserve your energy, so stop wasting it on people who've already proven they won't act. Step 2, pick one person. A group text just lets everyone off the hook. One person has to make a choice. Step 3, be direct. You're asking for execution, not a therapy session. And step 4, shift into survival mode. Let go of that I'll do it myself pride. The only goal is what works fastest to get you out of the crisis. And this is the exact template to use. It's brilliant, really, because it does 3 things perfectly. First, it explicitly says this is not a request for emotional labor. Second, it gives one specific time-bound task. And third, it gives them an easy out, which removes all the social pressure and forces a clear yes or no. Their answer will tell you everything you need to know. So, following this plan, it requires a pretty fundamental shift. It requires us to basically throw out our old definition of what it even means to be strong, especially when we feel like we're breaking. And let's be perfectly clear on this point. Being in this situation does not make you weak. It means you are overextended without backup. That is a tactical problem, not a character flaw. And you know what? It's a situation that will break absolutely anyone, no matter how strong they are. This whole thing really comes down to a redefinition of strength. See, real strength isn't about enduring pain in silence. It's about having the clarity to see you're in trouble and the strategic wisdom to take clear, decisive action to get the specific backup you need to get moving again. Which leaves us with a final thought. That initial impulse to cut everyone off might feel powerful, but honestly, it's a trap that just leads to more exhaustion and bitterness. True power isn't about demolition. It's about curation. So the real question isn't whether to burn all the bridges, but maybe, is it time to stop giving everyone a front row seat and instead start reassigning access based on who can actually help you build?